Hi, welcome to the School of Good and Evil and Fun and Friends.
Our new episode.
Yeah, we're trying this for the second time because the first time you couldn't hear anything. It's just our mouths moving, which is kind of unfortunate.
Annoying.
I'm Avalon.
I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Jasmine.
She's our special guest today.
Oh, for these books.
Oh, for the series, yes.
And we are reading The School of Good and Evil. Yay!
Yoo-hoo.
Which I heard is potentially being made into a Netflix series, so it's a good thing that we're like reading it
Getting
now
ahead.
and getting ahead of it. Yeah, and that way we can all be excited.
How exciting. Yes. Sorry.
I'll put my blanket back on. I don't know why he's over there. Okay. Right.
Jasmine, are you excited?
I'm excited.
Okay.
Super.
Gonna redo this chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember much, so that's fine for me. But
We'll
I think
see.
they
We'll see
remember.
that's what we remember.
I didn't until I remembered her voice acting, and then everything came back.
Yeah.
Please don't.
I'm
She's
still gonna
going
do it.
to.
Oh, I'm totally going to. Agatha gets the best voices.
My goodness.
I like Agatha. I love Agatha.
How long was this chapter again?
It was medium length.
I love Agatha. You gave her such a droll voice.
You did! Oh my gosh, you did!
I love it, and I'm
It's
gonna
like
do
that
it
annoying
again.
history teacher that like talked
Monotone.
monotone back in high
Hey,
school.
okay, she's got to be like this, like little witchy creeper. Okay, anyway, I don't want to give away too much because we haven't even like started.
Oh my goodness.
Chapter 1: The Princess and the Witch. Sophie had waited all of her life to be kidnapped, but tonight all of the children of Galvadon.
That's a great goal. I want to be kidnapped.
I want to be kidnapped.
Taken away.
I should just tell the guy outside that's been stalking me to just, come grab me,
I want to be kidnapped. No.
I'm parked by his car.
Honey.
I know you're parked by his car. That's why I was like, okay, probably should walk downstairs with
You
her.
are? Oh, shit.
I didn't
had-
know.
Over the
None of us
weekend,
know.
I had a guy stalk me, and the police were called, and it was a whole deal.
His car's still there.
And you
But
tell
I
Didn't
forgot
tell
to
us.
tell them when they came and parked, and they parked right next to his car because he's sitting outside again. Because his 3-day trespassing charge
Is now lifted.
Now lifted, so now he can come back without being arrested. So, gotta probably call again because he was sitting outside, probably looking in our windows again.
Probably.
Yeah.
This evening?
Well,
His
his
windows
car's
are
out
down.
there. His windows are down. I told the Nola's owner to go bring the dog back because, don't get stalked back. Anyway, back to the story.
Witches.
Sophie waited all of her life to be kidnapped, but tonight all the other children of Galvadon writhed in their beds. If the schoolmaster took them, they'd never return, never to lead a full life, never to see their family again. Tonight, these children dreamt of a red-eyed thief with the body of a beast come to rip them from their sheets and stifle their screams. Sophie dreamt of princes instead. She had arrived at the castle ball, thrown in her honor, only to find the hall filled with hundreds of suitors and no other girls in sight. Here, for the first time, were boys who deserved her, she thought, as they walked the line, hair
What a
shiny.
snoot.
Yep,
What a snoot.
such a snoot. Hair shiny and thick, muscles taut with their shirts, skin smooth and tan, beautiful and attentive like princes should be. It's funny, my husband, is not any of those things.
No, he's not.
But just as she came to the one who seemed better than the rest, with brilliant blue eyes and ghostly white hair, the one who felt like happily ever after, a hammer broke through the walls of the room and smashed the princess to shards. Sophie's eyes opened in the morning. The hammer was real, the princess were not. Father, if I don't get 9 hours of sleep, my eyes look swollen. Everyone's prattling on about how you'll be taken this year, her father said, sharpening a misshapen bar over her bedroom window, now completely obscured by locks, spikes, and screws. They tell me to shear your hair, muddy up your face, and if I believe the fairy tale hogwash, but no one's getting in here tonight, that's for sure. He pounded a deafening crack as an exclamation. Sophie rubbed her ears and frowned at her once lovely window, now something you'd see in a witch's den. Locks? Why didn't anyone think of that before? I don't know why they think it's you, he said, silver hair slicked with sweat. If it's goodness the schoolmaster fellow wants, he'll take Gunilda's daughter. Sophia tensed. Belle? Perfect child that one is, he says, brings her father home-cooked meals at the mill, gives the leftovers to the poor hag in the square. Sophie heard the edge to her father's voice. She had never once cooked a full meal for him, even after her mother died. Naturally, she had good reason. The oil and the smoke would clog her pores, but she knew it was a sore point. This didn't mean her father had gone hungry. Instead, she offered him some of her own favorite foods: mashed beets, broccoli stew, boiled asparagus, steamed spinach. He hadn't ballooned up like a blimp like Belle's father, precisely because she had brought him home-cooked lamb franchises and cheese soufflés at the mill. As for the poor hag in the square, that old crone, despite claiming hunger day after day, was fat. And if Belle had anything to do with it, then she wasn't good at all. She was the worst kind of evil. Sophie looked back at her father. Like you said, it's all hogwash. She swept out of bed and slammed the bathroom door. She studied her face in the mirror. The rude awakening had taken its toll. Her waist-length hair, the color of spun gold, didn't have its usual sheen. Her jade-green eyes looked faded, her luscious red lips a touch dry. Even the glow of her creamy peach skin had dulled. But still a princess, she thought. Her father couldn't see she was special, but her mother had. You are too beautiful for this world, Sophie, she said with her last breath. Her mother had gone somewhere better, and now so did she. Tonight she would be taken into the woods. Tonight she would begin a whole new life. Tonight she would live out her fairy tale. And now she needed to look the part. To begin, she rubbed fish eggs on her skin, which smelled of dirty feet and warded off spots.
Lovely.
Let's do it.
No.
Skincare routine as done by Sophie. Then she massaged in pumpkin puree, rinsed with goat's milk, and soaked her face in a massive...
I would do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would actually do that.
I would do that one. And soaked her face in a mask of melon and turtle yolk egg.
We can't get turtle yolk egg anyway.
I'm sure
we will not encourage anyone to get turtle eggs.
Please don't. Leave the turtles alone. Don't.
Sophie flipped through her storybook and sipped on her cucumber juice. Oh yes, I remember the cucumber juice.
juice.
I remember the cucumber juice. We actually looked it up. We're like, is cucumber juice a thing?
No.
Yes, it is.
It was.
It
Oh
was a
yeah,
thing.
it was.
We were going to get it for chapter 2.
We gotta go try it. We'll have to try it. It'll be so interesting.
You can try it.
We'll be sipping here on our cucumber juice.
No thanks.
She sipped on her cucumber juice to keep her skin dewy soft. She skipped to her favorite part of the story, where the wicked hag is rolled down a hill on a nailed spiked barrel until the remains of her bracelet made of little kids' bones. Until all that remains was a bracelet made of little kids' bones. Gazing at the gruesome bracelet, Sophie felt her thoughts drift to cucumbers. Suppose there were new cucumbers in the woods.
Like Hansel and Gretel.
Suppose other princesses had a depleted supply. No cucumbers, she'd shrivel and wither, she'd... Dried melon flakes fell onto the page. She turned to the mirror and saw her brow creased with worry. First ruined sleep and now wrinkles. At this rate, she'd be a hag by the afternoon. She relaxed her face and banished thoughts of vegetables. As for the rest of Sophie's beauty routine, it would fill a dozen storybooks. Suffice it to say, it included goose feathers, pickled potatoes, horse hooves, cream of cashews, and a vial of cow's blood. This is bringing back some, what's it called? American Horror Story memories. You remember? Mm-hmm. She's like, I wish I didn't. 2 hours of rigorous grooming later, she stepped from the house to a breezy pink dress, sparkling glass heels, and a hair in an impeccable braid. She had one last day before the schoolmaster's arrival and planned to use each and every minute to remind him why she and not Belle or Tabitha or Sabrina or any other imposter should be kidnapped. Sophie's best friend...
Me.
Sabrina, you want to be kidnapped?
No.
Do you drink your cucumber juice daily?
No.
What about your cow's blood face mask?
I drink cow's milk. Not blood. No. If I had a choice of who my kidnapper was, then yes. I got some good choices. But no.
Depends who's doing the kidnapping.
Sophie's best friend lived in a cemetery. Given her loathing of things gray, grim, and poorly lit, one would expect Sophie to host visits at her cottage or find a new best friend. But instead, she had climbed the hill atop Graves Hill every day this week, careful to maintain a smile on her face, since this was the point of a good deed after all. To get there, she had to walk nearly a mile from the bright lakeside cottages with green eaves and sun-drenched turrets towards the gloomy edges of the forest. Sounds of hammering echoed through the cottage lanes as she passed fathers boarding up their doors, mothers stuffing scarecrows, boys and girls hunched on their porches, noses buried in storybooks. The last sight wasn't unusual for children in Galvadon, did little besides read their fairy tales, but today Sophie noticed their eyes wild and frenzied, scouring each page as if their lives depended on it. 4 years ago, she had seen the same desperation to avoid the curse, but it wasn't her turn then. The schoolmaster only took those past their 12th year, those who could no longer disguise their children. Now her turn had come. As she slogged up Graves Hill, picnic basket in hand, Sophie felt her thighs burn. Had these climbs thickened her legs? All the princesses in storybooks had the same perfect proportions. Thick thighs were unlikely as hooked nose or big feet. Feeling anxious, Sophie distracted herself by counting her good deeds from the day before. First, she had fed the lake's geese a blend of lentils and leeks, a natural laxative to offset the cheese thrown by the oafish children. Oh goody. Duck poop. Lots and lots of duck poop. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then she had donated handsome lemonwood face wash to the town orphanage for, as she insisted to the befuddled benefactor, proper skincare is the greatest deed of all. Finally, she had put up a mirror in the church toilet so people could return to the pews looking their best. Was this enough? Did those compete with baking homemade pies and feeding homeless hags? Her thoughts shifted nervously to cucumbers. Perhaps she could sneak a private supply into the woods. She still had plenty of time to pack before nightfall, but weren't cucumbers heavy?
What is her obsession with freaking cucumbers?
She needs some cucumber juice. Keep her skin young.
It cannot
What if
be
they
that
don't have
good.
cucumbers in the fairy tale world, you know?
That's what she's worried about. She's like, what if I
she's
sneak
going
some?
to like a witchy school, she could just...
Well, it's not necessarily a witchy
She's
school.
supposed to be a princess.
A princess.
Oh,
Princesses can't do witchcraft.
But she can get whatever she wants. She can demand it.
I would just sing to the animals and be like, bring me cucumbers, bring me cucumbers. And then, like, you know, Snow White, they would just go do it, you know? Just
but, like that too, like there would be a way.
that's, I feel like that's what I
cucumbers.
would do. I would just sing to the birds and the animals and be like, bring me some. Ah!
And that would happen.
And then they would bring me
Good
some.
one.
They would just bring me some.
What happens when they bring the dwarves?
Oh, I don't know.
They could fetch her cow's blood and turtle eggs.
There you go. Slave labor.
Yeah.
Sing to the turtles, give me your eggs, give me your eggs.
Oh my god.
This is getting
She'll
dark.
have to adapt.
She will.
The turtles are gonna look at her like,
What?
no. Sorry.
Go away.
Okay. She still had plenty of time to pack before nightfall. But weren't cucumbers heavy? Would the school send footmen? Perhaps she should juice them before she... Where are you going? Sophie...
Where are you going?
Don't laugh at me! I'm making voices for people, okay?
It's a young female Snape.
It's not!
Yeah.
It's a male,
That's
because...
what popped in my head was Professor Snape.
Where are you going? Sophie turned. Radley smiled at her with buck teeth and anemically red hair. He lived near Graves Hill, but made it a habit to stalk her at all hours of the day. There we go with stalking again. To see a friend.
It's a theme.
To see a friend, said Sophie. Why are you friends with a witch? Said Radley. She's not a witch. She has no friends, and she's queer. That makes her a witch. Sophie refrained from pointing out that this made Radley a witch as well. Instead, she smiled to remind him she'd done her good deed by enduring his presence.
Wow.
The schoolmaster will take her for evil school, he said. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. The schoolmaster will take her for evil school, he said. Then you'll need a new friend. He takes 2 children, Sophie said, jaw tightening. He'll take Belle for the other one. No one's as good as Belle. Sophie's smile evaporated. But I'll be your new friend, said Radley.
Ah.
I'm full on friends at the moment, Sophie snapped.
I'm gonna say that to the next person. He's like, I'm gonna be your friend and I don't like them. Like, I'm full on friends at the moment. I love all-
Please put your application.
Ask that anymore?
Some.
Please put your leave your application, and when there's an opening, I will review the
it.
applications.
Well, I had boyfriend applications, so it's like that's what I was doing. When I was
That's apparently
dating.
a thing. Hey, there was this person on TikTok that actually did like applications for her brother. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Radley turned the color of a raspberry.
I did.
Oh,
The TikTok. I need to find my brother or girlfriend. Please fill this form
She
out.
did.
She
literally.
did. She did literally.
Right.
And I'd be like, I'm taking boyfriend applications. But now that application is closed and no longer available, please do not send them.
Better luck next time.
Put an expiration date on the bottom of that to clarify.
It has been expired since August of last year. So.
Radley turned the color of a raspberry. Oh, right, I just thought you fled like a kick dog. Sophie watched the scraggly hair recede down the hill. Oh, you've really done it now, she thought. Months of good deeds and forced smiles, and now she'd ruined it for our runty Radley. Why not make his day? Why not simply answer, I'd be honored to have you as a friend, and give the idiot a moment to relive for years? She knew it was the prudent thing to do, since the schoolmaster would be judging her as closely as St. Nicholas the night before Christmas. But she couldn't do it. She was beautiful. Radley was ugly. Only a villain would delude him. Surely the schoolmaster would understand that. Sophie pulled open the rusted cemetery gates and felt weeds scratch her legs. Across the hilltop, moldy headstones forked hazardously from the dunes of the dead leaves. Squeezing between the dark tombs and decaying branches, Sophie kept careful count of the rows. She never looked at her mother's grave, even at the funeral, and she wouldn't start today. As she passed the 6th row, she glued her eyes to a weeping branch and reminded herself where she would be a day from now. In the middle of the thickest batch of tombs stood one Graves Hill. A house wasn't boarded up or bolted shut like the cottage by the lake, but it didn't make it any more inviting. The steps leading up to the porch glowed a mildew green. Dead birches and vines wormed their way around the dark wood, and sharply angled roof, black and thin, loomed like witch's hair. As she climbed the moaning porch steps, Sophie tried to ignore the smell of mixed garlic, wet cat, and averted her eyes from the headless birds sprinkled around, no doubt the victims of the latter.
It does smell awful.
I think it's meant to keep people away.
People
I don't think
away.
Agatha likes
it.
people. Yeah.
Or liked people. Yeah,
I think that's the reason she chose to live there.
probably.
She knocked on the door, prepared for a fight. Go away, came a gruff voice. That's no way to speak to your best friend, Sophie cooed. You're not my best friend. Who is then? Sophie asked, wondering if Belle had somehow made her way to Graves Hill. None of your business. Sophie took a deep breath. She
She does have a best friend.
Yeah, she just said none of your business. It could be there's none.
Yeah.
Or maybe there is one.
I think there is one.
Sophie took a deep breath. She didn't want another Radley incident. We had such a good time yesterday, Agatha. I thought we would do it again. You dyed my hair orange. But we fixed it, didn't we? You always test your creams and potions on me just to see how they would work. Isn't that what friends are for? Sophie said. To help each other? I'll never be as pretty as you. Sophie tried to find another nice to say. She took too long and her shoes stomp away. That doesn't mean we can't be friends, Sophie called. A familiar cat, bald and wrinkled, growled at her across the porch. She whipped back to the door. I brought biscuits! She stopped. Real ones or ones you made? Sophie shrank from the slinking cat. Fluffy and buttery, just like you love. The cat hissed. Agatha, let me in. You'll say I smell. You don't smell. Then why'd you say it last time? Because you smelled last time. Agatha, the cat's spitting. Maybe it smells ulterior motives. The cat bared its claws. Agatha, open the door. It pounced on her face. Sophie screamed. A hand stabbed between them and swatted the cat down. Sophie looked up. Reaper ran out of birds, said Agatha. Her hideous dome of black hair looked like it was coated in oil. Her hunking black dress, shapeless as a potato sack, couldn't hide the freakishly pale skin and jutting bones. Ladybug eyes bulged from her sunken face. I thought we'd go for a walk, Sophie said. Agatha leaned against the door. I'm trying to figure out why you're friends with me. Because you're sweet and funny, said Sophie. My mother says I'm bitter and grumpy, said Agatha, so one of you is lying. She reached into Sophie's basket and pulled up the napkin to reveal dry, butterless bran biscuits. Agatha gave Sophie a withering glance and retreated into the house. So we can't take the walk? Sophie asked. Agatha started to close the door, but saw her crestfallen face as Sophie had looked forward to their walk so much as she had. A short one, Agatha trudged past her, but if you say anything smug or stuck up or shallow, I'll have Reaper follow you home. Sophie ran after her. But then I can't talk. After 4 years, the dreaded 11th night of the 11th month had arrived. In the late day sun, the square had become a hive of preparation for the schoolmaster's arrival. The men sharpened their swords, set traps, plotted the night's guard, while the women lined up the children and went to work. Handsome ones had their hair chopped off, teeth blackened, and clothes shredded to rags. Homely ones were scrubbed, swathed in bright colors, and fitted with veils. Mothers begged the best-behaved children to curse or kick their sisters. The worst were bribed. The worst were bribed to pray in church, while the rest were lined up in the chorus of the village anthem, Blessed are the ordinary. Fear swelled up into a contagious fog. In the dim alley, the butcher and the blacksmith traded storybooks for clues to save their sons. Beneath the crooked clock tower, two sisters listed fairy tale villain names to hunt for patterns. A group of boys chained their bodies together. A few girls hid in the school roof, and masked children jumped from bushes to spook his mother, earning a spanking on the spot. Even the homeless hag got into the act, hoping for a meager fire, croaking, "Burn the storybooks! Burn them all!" But no one listened, and no books were burned. Agatha gaped in disbelief. How can a whole town believe in fairy tales? Because they're real. Agatha stopped walking. You can't actually believe the legend is true. Of course I do, said Sophie. That a schoolmaster kidnaps 2 children, takes them to a school where one learns good and one learns evil, and they graduate into fairy tales? Sounds about right. Tell me if you see an oven. Why? I want to put my head in it. And what, pray tell, do they teach at this school exactly? Well, in the School of Good, they teach boys and girls like me how to become heroes and princesses, how to rule kingdoms justly, how to find happily ever after, Sophie said. In the School for Evil, they teach you how to become wicked witches and humpbacked trolls, how to lay curses and cast evil spells. Evil spells? Agatha cackled. Who came up with this, a 4-year-old? Agatha, the proof is in the storybooks. You see the missing children in the drawings. Jack, Rose, Rapunzel, they all got their own tales. I don't see anything because I don't read dumb storybooks. Then why is there a stack by your bed? Sophie asked. Agatha scowled. Look who's to say the books are even real. Maybe it's a bookseller's prank. Maybe it's the elder's way of keeping the children out of the woods. Whatever the explanation, it is not a schoolmaster, and it isn't evil spells. So who's kidnapping the children? No one. Every 4 years, 2 idiots sneak into the woods hoping to scare their parents, only to get lost or eaten by wolves. And there you have it. The legend continues. That's the stupidest explanation I've ever heard. I don't think I'm the stupid one here, Agatha said. There was something about being called stupid that set Sophie's blood aflame. "You're just scared," she said. "Right," Agatha laughed. "Why would I be scared?" "Because you know you're coming with me." Agatha stopped laughing. Then her gaze moved past Sophie into the square. The villagers were staring at them like the solution to a mystery. Good in pink, evil in black, the schoolmaster's perfect pair. Still frozen, Agatha watched dozens of scared eyes bore into her. Her first thought was that after tomorrow, she and Sophie would take their walks in peace. Next to her, Sophie watched the children memorize her face in case it appeared in the storybooks one day. Her first thought was whether they looked at Belle the same way. Then through the crowd, she saw her. Head shaved, dress filthy, Belle kneeled in the dirt, frantically muddying her own face. Sophie drew a breath. For Belle was just like the others. She wanted a mundane marriage to a man who would grow fat, lazy, and demanding. She wanted monotonous days of cooking, cleaning, and sewing. She wanted to shovel dung and milk sheep and slaughter squealing pigs. She wanted to rot in Galvadon until her skin was liver-spotted and her teeth fell out. The schoolmaster would never take Belle because Belle wasn't a princess. She was nothing. Victorious, Sophie beamed back at the pathetic villagers and basked in their stares like shiny mirrors. "Let's go," said Agatha. Sophie turned. Agatha's eyes were locked on the mob. "Where?" "Away from people." As the sun weakened to a red orb, two girls, one beautiful, one ugly, sat side by side on the shore of a lake. Sophie packed cucumbers in the silk pouch, while Agatha flitted lit matches into the water. After the 10th match, Sophie threw her a look. "It relaxes me." Sophie tried to make room for the last cucumber. Why would somebody choose Belle? Why would someone like Belle want to stay here? Who would choose this over a fairy tale?" "And who would choose to leave their family forever?" Agatha snorted. "Except me, you mean," said Sophie. They fell quiet. "Do you ever wonder where your father went?" Sophie asked. "I told you he left after I was born." "Well, where did he go?" "We were surrounded by woods to suddenly disappear like that," Sophie swung. "Maybe he found a way into the stories. Maybe he found a magic portal. Maybe he's waiting for you on the other side." "Or maybe he went back to his wife, pretended I never happened, and died 10 years ago in a mill accident." Sophie bit her lip and went back to her cucumbers. "Your mother's never at home when I visit." "She goes into town now," said Agatha. "Not enough patience at the house, probably the location." "I'm sure it is," Sophie said, knowing no one would trust Agatha's mother to treat diaper rash, let alone illness. I don't think the graveyard makes people all that comfortable." "Graveyards have their benefits," Agatha said. "No nosy neighbors, no drop-in salesmen, no fishy friends bearing face masks and diet cookies telling you you're going to an evil school in magic fairyland." She flicked a match with relish. Sophie put down her cucumber. "So I'm fishy now?" "Who asked you to show up? I was perfectly fine alone." "You always let me in." "Because you always seem so lonely," said Agatha, "and I feel sorry for you." "You feel sorry for me?" Sophie's eyes flashed. "You're lucky that someone would come to see you when no one else will. You're lucky that someone like me with your friend would be your friend. You're lucky that someone like me is a good person." "I knew it," Agatha flared. "I'm your good deed, just a pawn in your stupid fantasy." Sophie didn't say anything for a long time. Maybe I became your friend to impress the schoolmaster," she confessed finally. "But there's more to it now." "Because I found you out?" Agatha grumbled. "Because I like you." Agatha turned to her. "No one understands me here," Sophie said, looking at her hands. "But you do. You see who I am. That's why I kept coming back. You're not a good deed anymore, Agatha." Sophie gazed up at her. "You're my friend." Agatha's neck flushed red. "What's wrong?" Sophie asked. Agatha hunched into her dress. "It's just, I'm not used to having friends. Sophie smiled and took her hand. Well, now we'll be friends at our new school. Agatha groaned and pulled away. Say I sink to your intelligence level and pretend to believe all this. Why am I going to the villain school? Why has everyone elected me the mistress of evil? No one says you're evil, Agatha, Sophie sighed. You're just different. Agatha narrowed her eyes. Different? How? Well, for starters, you only wear black. Because it doesn't get dirty. You never leave your house. People don't look at me here. For the created tale competition, your story ended with Snow White eaten by vultures and Cinderella drowning herself in a bathtub.
So forgot about that. Oh my God. Continue. Sorry.
I thought it was a better ending. You gave me a dead frog for my birthday. To remind you, we'll all die and end up rotting underground, eaten by maggots, so you better enjoy your birthday while you have them. I found it thoughtful. Agatha, you dressed as a bride for Halloween. Weddings are scary.
I mean, I'm dressing up as a bride for Halloween with the bride of Chucky.
A little different. Fine, so I'm different. Agatha glared. So what? Sophie hesitated. Well, it's just that fairy tales different usually turns out evil. You're saying I'm going to turn out a grand witch, said Agatha, hurt. I'm saying that whatever happens, you'll have a choice, Sophie said gently. Both of us will choose how our fairy tale ends. Agatha said nothing for a while, then touched Sophie's hand. Why is it that you want to leave so badly? That you'd believe in stories you know aren't true? Sophie met Agatha's big, sincere eyes for the first time. She let in the tides of doubt. Because I can't live here, Sophie said, voice catching. I can't live an ordinary life. Funny, said Agatha. That's why I like you. Sophie smiled. Because you can't either? Because you make me feel ordinary, Agatha said. And it's the only thing I've ever wanted. The tenor-rolled clock sang darkly in the valley, 6 or 7, for they had lost track of time, and the echoes faded into a buzz of the distant square. Both Sophie and Agatha made a wish, and one day from now that they'd still be in the company of each other, wherever that was.
I like it.
Do you like drowning Cinderella?
Drowning Cinderella in a bathtub.
Oh, I like this chapter so far. I like how it's...
I'm not going to be able to unhear her now as a female child service Snape.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I feel she is. Like, that. I don't know. That's how I feel Agatha's soul is. I love her. She's my little witch.
Mm-hmm.
She's so cute.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And cucumber juice.
So, for the next chapter, we will try to make cucumber juice.
Attempt. Well, I thought we were just going to buy it. Were you going to make it?
No, whatever.
You have a juicer?
I do have a juicer.
There you go.
Maybe we'll make some cucumber juice.
We'll make some and let you know.
I'll give you a review.
I probably won't like it, so.
I don't know.
I liked cucumber water.
I like you.
I feel like it's different, though. I feel like it's different.
We got water infused versus having the pulp.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to like the texture. I didn't like aloe vera juice. I had aloe vera juice one time.
I've tried a bunch. I will say it depends on the brand.
Yeah.
Different brands taste very different.
I had like a stomach issue and they like said I should try it for like my stomach issue. Do you remember in high school? My stomach issue? Yeah, they asked me to try that to see if it helps like
calm it.
I mean, obviously I wasn't gonna make it go away. Well, I like couldn't keep it down. I like threw it up because it was nasty. So that was
maybe you
short-lived.
just had a bad one.
So it was a little short.
That would be her luck.
It would be my luck.
Would be her luck.
I always have
that
luck.
a bad juice.
That's why I can't have coconut, is because I had bad coconut milk in high school.
But I always have the worst luck.
I like coconut water.
I can sometimes stomach raw coconut, but like coconut flavored things or the coconut flakes on things or
I
anything
can't do the flakes.
with like desserts with roasted
You don't
coconut
like
in it.
Samoas?
I don't like Samoas. I hate Samoas.
I do, but I don't.
I love Samoas.
Anyway,
They're the best.
any of
I
those
can
like
eat
coconut
Samoas,
flavor,
but
coconut
then, like,
flavor
spit
in
it out.
alcoholic drinks or in
Oh, I love
smoothies
pina
or anything.
coladas.
I hate pina colada.
I love
Hate
pina
it.
coladas.
But it's just, like I said, it's associated with the fact that I got like the
Sick.
food. Yeah, I was throwing up for like 2 days after that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I had chamomile tea ruined for me because I had like this.
Low battery.
Uh-oh.
Well, let's be quick.
Be
Okay.
quick.
Well,
Because it's about to shut up.
guess we're not going to do that story.
Skip that story.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye.